Okay, I'm calling the meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. And if you would perform roll call, Tiffany, I would appreciate it.
Counselor Pictionary is excused. Josh Aguilar. Daniel Davidson.
Here, I might have seen Josh downstairs. I'm not sure.
Okay, so maybe he's on his way. Cindy Koza. She's here.
Here. Yep.
Jonathan Hayes.
Here.
Carla Berg.
Here.
Teresa Dillon.
Here.
Adam Jenkins. He's excused. Brett Yancey is excused and Eric Adams is excused.
So Josh is in fact here. We have
Possibly.
a quorum.
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
Do you want me to go? 'Cause
Where did you think you saw him?
I saw him at the records desk.
Oh,
Maybe like he was looking for corrections because did he come in person last time?
no, he was ill last time, but I think the time before that he was online.
Right.
Do you want to go check
Yeah,
downstairs? Okay.
Sure.
We'll give you, give it a few seconds.
Yeah.
Sure.
close soon.
What?
How much longer am I in chair? Am I in chair?
So look at the.
Yes.
Keep trying to go to that.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, here.
So Josh is here.
Okay, so we do have a quorum. That's good. Okay,
Hi, Josh.
hi Josh, welcome.
Hello, good evening.
All right.
Okay, we have a quorum, everybody. Okay, did everybody get a chance to read the previous meeting minutes and any changes? Okay, we have a motion to approve.
I move that we approve the minutes as written.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, business from the audience.
I need to
Yes,
read.
do you have anything?
There is one person
Okay,
and I will, start, hold on, I've got to turn on the race, but you need to read that part.
okay. Public testimony will be received during business from the audience. If the member of the meeting is being recorded, as a reminder, I'm sorry. Committee will listen to your comments, but will not respond to public comment until the committee response portion of the meeting agenda. Meeting minutes will be taken by staff and forwarded to the city manager and city council. Members of the public can always send written testimony to the committee or city council. As we begin our meeting tonight, I would ask members of the virtual audience to please keep yourselves on mute until you're called to provide public testimony. Speakers in person will be allowed to speak first, after which virtual audience members will be allowed to speak. Public testimony will allow speakers 2 minutes each for a total of 20 minutes. If you are joining us online with a tablet, smartphone, or computer and wish to speak, please use the raise hand feature to make the request. You will be called on when it's your turn to speak. Please identify your name, Springfield ward number, and the subject you would like to speak about. For people calling in by phone only, you are in listen mode only and cannot be called upon. Are there any comments?
Well, we don't have anybody in person. And I don't see that anybody online is raising their hands.
Okay. Well, then I will call it into that. And as we have no public comment, we have no committee response.
Oh, he just raised his hand. Sorry, I will put it back on.
All right.
Okay, Jason, I'm gonna allow you to talk and I'm starting the time. We're starting the timer. You might want to unmute yourself.
Okay, is this thing working?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, hey, Shears either needs to retire and move aside or step up his game. And quit holding these grooming events for the kids. You guys are too short-handed to be out grooming.
Okay,
Thank you.
Oh, Okay, thank you.
Okay. You have any response?
No, we don't have to respond.
Did anybody understand what he said?
Yes.
Did you?
Yeah, I'll put it in the minutes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Next is SPD, and that brings us to Lieutenant Rapay.
Hello, y'all. I'm Tom Rapay. I'm a lieutenant with Springfield PD here. Just a little bit about me. I'm currently the jail commander, and I'm in my 34th year here and really close to retirement. So, yeah. And I just want to say thank you to you all for being a part of this committee. It's important to have our citizen input, and it's obviously a volunteer position. You're taking time away from your families to be here, and that doesn't go unrecognized. So I wanted to thank you folks for your commitment to that. I do have a list of things that Miss Tiffany and I have talked about, and I talked to the chief a little bit about a few of these things. Just kind of, we call it an update then? Is that kind of what SPD update?
Yep.
All right, so I'll start out. We recently filled 4 positions within the PD. 2 CSO positions, which one is assigned to our patrol. That's we hired Rennie Rupp. I think she goes by Ren, but I've known her since she was a baby, and I call her Rennie. So
That's where she's going to be.
that's what she's going to be, yeah, to me. And we hired the other CSO position was Animal Control Officer Will Kearney, who is a retired DEA supervisor. So he recently retired, feels like he still needs to serve. And so here he is. We hired him as our animal control officer. So
Has he started yet?
he has started.
I
Yeah.
saw an animal control vehicle moving around last week.
Well, he's training still.
He's training. So Brian Austin, our former animal control officer, is training him. Brian has switched to a different position, intelligence analyst. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah, I got that right. I didn't have to look at my notes. And so yeah, Brian's training him for a few weeks, and I know Will's been sitting behind a computer, learning all of our policies and procedures and those things that are associated with animal control. So, and the third position is, like I said, Brian Austin. He was offered the intelligence analyst position, and he has started that already, been to several trainings and getting his feet underneath him in regard to that. And then as of today, we have a new record supervisor, Stephanie Duxbury, who she was a part of our record staff for many years. I mean, she's been with us 20 years.
No, what, maybe 10?
That feels like 20. I did her background. Yeah. We're in the old building and stuff.
Well, then maybe a little over 10.
Yeah,
We'll call it
okay,
15.
close. But anyway, good selection there. Stephanie will do a great job. And she just accepted that position today. So congratulations to Stephanie. We recently finalized our police policy manual, and it is available on the city's website. So there we go. That's a long time coming, something that Lieutenant Crawley's been working on. Tiffany has had a lot to play in that, of course. Every year we apply for ODOT traffic grants, use those monies to enforce seatbelt speeding violations in the city. We recently were given some data, provided data. This is, we believe fiscal year 23-24. And this that Tiffany just brought up on there is the data associated with
Is it the
our
top 10?
numbers. Now, this is the top 10 in the state of Oregon. So we actually have done a really good job using those grant funds. And essentially it's overtime for the officers. They sign up for it and they go out and they you know, enforce these different grants that are specific to the overtime, obviously. And our guys have done a great job. So,
Nice.
yeah.
You guys have any questions about those figures? We're number one speeding citations and number two and everything, to just behind Portland and everything else.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Sorry, what is DWS?
Driving while suspended.
Okay.
Couple weeks ago, we participated in the 911 stair climb at Autzen Stadium, which is it's the second annual stair climb over there. We had 20 employees. It's you know, in honor, remembrance of those first responders who passed in 9/11. So that's pretty cool. That's a large turnout. You know, 20 employees doing that, volunteering their time to go over there and do that. And it's my understanding, it's a pretty, I was on vacation, but or I would have been there. But it's a pretty good workout. You know, going up and down those stairs.
How many times did they go up and down?
I don't know, but
A lot,
I think it's a lot. It was raining, so it was slick. And it was a pretty miserable day.
Yeah,
But anyway,
they had a good time.
yeah, they had a good time. So we recently assigned Officer Daniel Cazares and his K-9 Cash to the DEA task force full-time. You know, we used to have our INET guys, interagency narcotics guys, used to work with the DEA, and I believe we even had people assigned to the task force back when I started. And we haven't done that in years just because of resources, and the task force kind of folded. A lot of agencies weren't participating in it, but this is a pretty cool deal because I mean, DEA is working cases all over the county, right? Springfield, Eugene, and so to be able to put that resource like, you know, Cazares and his K-9, which is obviously a drug K-9, in that position is pretty cool for us. So he does a really good job with his dog, and he's a go-getter. So yeah, they're really happy. They've been asking us, you know, for a long time to participate. This is the first time in a long time we've actually been able to do it full time. We've done Officer Sorby and his K-9. What's her name?
It's gonna start with the S.
She was a very, very good dog. She was real gentle.
Danner.
Yeah. And so he was part-time. You know, he'd get called, he'd go over and help him out as often as he could, but this is a full-time position. And of course, he's still, Officer Cazares is still a SWAT team member. He's still, if we need him here at the PD for narcotics search warrants or vehicles we have stopped, we still use him, you know. It's not like,
Ones that just got the fentanyl.
yeah. So. Our back to school traffic enforcement, is my understanding, has been feedback has been very positive. Our guys are out there working hard in those school zones, particularly our motor guys, but you know, just paying that extra focused attention, you know, is important. And the feedback from citizens in those areas has been positive too. the chief has recently been appointed to the DPSST board. And the DPSST Medal of Honor Board. So, the DPSST board gives direction to the DPSST director, which DPSST is the Department of Police Standards and Training. Not sure where the other S comes from, but I'm sure it's important.
Safety and safety and standards.
Safety and standards. That's probably what it is. Security and standards.
Safety, I
Oh,
think.
Department of Public Safety Standards and Training.
Hey, there you
Good
go.
job.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
There's a
You're
safety.
I should know that.
Yeah, well,
They certify
It's
me.
changed a few times. It's changed a few times in our tenure.
Yeah, my 10.
Mine too.
But anyway, yeah, that's DPSST is who certifies us, law enforcement, and as well as security officers through the state. So he being on a board like that is like one of 20 police chiefs on that. So it's a pretty good. Yeah, it is. It's good.
Where is that located?
In
Salem.
Salem,
Their board probably like most
Yeah.
virtually.
Yeah.
Probably.
it's in Turner.
Turner.
Yeah. Just a couple more. Hang with me.
That's all right. You're doing
We've recently begun working with our municipal court, specifically municipal court judge and Ideal Options. We're partnering with them to focus on an opiate grant, specifically opiate treatment for those that are leaving our jail facility. So there's grant available. The judge came to us, command staff, and Ideal Options, and working with them and how they foresee this working. So it gives people, as they're getting ready to leave our facility, who have opiate addictions, it gives them options. Instead of just, kicking them back out to the street. Which is cool. We've never had anything like that. And I foresee that as a real positive, thing for us. Because we do have a lot of people come through our jail facility that are addicted. My understanding is this is also alcohol addiction as well.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, we had a speaker from there.
Well, that was the
Isn't that-
Smart Court program.
Oh,
This is
okay.
specifically with our jail nurses and Ideal Options to give some sort of medication for the
medication, right?
the
Like
addiction that-
my understanding is like 30-day, something that's a 30-day shot. So if they're committed, they have to be committed to doing this, right? And so it's a volunteer on their part program. So as they have their end date, their end date of incarceration coming up, they're given the shot and it lasts 30 days. And it
Okay.
gets them into this, and they have to check into this program,
Okay,
and it just facilitates that.
okay,
So,
gotcha.
yeah. Is my understanding.
Yeah.
But. Couple weeks ago, we selected 2 new canine
dog.
canine dogs.
Dog.
Yeah. So we have our canine trainers went down to Southern California to the kennel that we get our canines from, and we're able to acquire two new dogs. So
Are they still puppies or are they?
Oh, no,
ready to go.
I think they're 2-ish. I
Okay,
think get them in there 2.
so they're ready
so-
to go.
Well,
After training.
yeah, they still have, they're still have a long way to go
Right,
to meet the standard that we expect out of
Right.
our dogs, yeah. But it's the beginning. We have
Right.
2 selected, which is cool that
that's,
we're able to
that's
get
great,
2.
yeah.
Our guys really have a high standard for that. Actually, our guys, when I say our guys, our trainers, usually are selecting dogs for other agencies in the state too.
Okay.
So they ask our guys when they go down there, hey, while you're down there, can you select a dog for us too? And so
They did get a,
they did get one
a
for,
third dog.
was it Douglas County?
but I know that they picked up a third dog,
Yeah,
but not for us.
yeah.
Yeah.
We needed to fill two positions, so, which is good.
Nice.
I think that's all I have.
Anybody have any questions for Lieutenant Rapay?
That made 3 total CSO officers or CSOs that you have.
Four.
Well, patrol
Four.
CS, 3 patrol CSOs.
Okay.
Well, isn't Solaris a CSO?
Yeah, but patrol
So that would be-
CSOs.
So that would be 5.
Yeah.
You take his position.
But Rennie will be a third patrol CSO.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, technically Solaris, Zach,
I mean,
and the animal control are all CSOs
CSO.
too. They're just not patrol CSOs.
Okay.
Yeah, but 3 patrol CSOs, yeah.
Nice.
And what do they do exactly?
The patrol CSOs? Oh,
Everything.
Everything?
yeah, they respond to
Crashes.
vehicle accidents, a lot of vehicle accidents, towed vehicles. They tow a lot of vehicles for us, abandoned vehicles, parking complaints, cold calls where there's no suspect,
Found
listed.
property.
found property. They're busy.
I'll bet they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, we could probably use 10 CSO. Keep them busy.
That's CSO.
Community service officer. Yeah, they're non-sworn, but they wear a uniform. They wear, protective vest and stuff, but their uniform's a little bit different than a regular officer. They drive around and you'll see them in, we have Chevy Colorados for them, so they can get around during inclement weather.
All property.
Haul
Cones.
property, yeah, traffic cones for accidents and things, so recovering property, they stay pretty busy, yeah. Yeah,
So it's kind of like for is a really bad way of describing it, but maybe like non-dangerous.
I wouldn't tell them that, but yeah. But what they do sometimes can be, but yeah, we try not to put them in, they don't
Right.
want to put themselves in this position, but sometimes you're right, if you're getting flagged down.
Right, you don't know.
Something's in progress and you.
They don't
could be
get
in-
sent off on a domestic
No.
dispute.
No.
Never.
But
Yeah,
I mean, in any situation, if there
Yeah.
was something happen, our officers would be right there to.
yeah.
So was it yesterday or the day before, we had a little incident on Centennial and Fifth? Locked down the schools. and-
Oh.
School lockdown.
It was
Yeah.
technically Eugene Police was doing something in the area.
Cause I got stopped right there.
Yeah, yeah,
Just tried to turn around.
yeah.
Yeah, so why would it be Eugene there?
I think they were doing a search warrant
They
in
were
the area.
doing a search warrant and they had a house surrounded. They located a suspect vehicle and it just happened really quick. They
Yeah.
couldn't just walk away from it.
I see.
And so, yeah, the timing wasn't good because school has to go on lockdown and
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah,
Like right when
Yeah.
school's getting out.
yeah,
so,
yeah.
sometimes those things happen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the people that they had ultimately detained were people that were suspects in
I saw like
Serious
4
crimes.
people in.
serious crimes in
Yeah, 4
Eugene
people in cuffs there.
involving
Yeah.
guns
Yeah.
and things. So, yeah.
They needed
So-
to keep them in Eugene, not them in
Yeah,
Springfield.
well, we're all one big community,
Yeah,
right? I
just-
mean, you just never know. Our guys go over to Eugene a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
It's wherever the case takes you.
right.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Rapay.
Appreciate your input and your help here.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I hope I was,
Thank you for those
Very
updates.
informative. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's interesting.
sure. There was a couple of policies, I think, that.
We're not to that
Oh,
point yet.
okay. I'm sorry. I'm
Just
getting ahead of
sit back and
myself.
relax. So the business from the committee, last time we talked about how the council policies and procedures has changed and we need a statement of purpose. And we kind of lightly touched on changing our goals because I thought that they could be a statement of purpose. And I think that everybody kind of agreed, but Joe suggested a couple changes and wanted to talk about it at this meeting. So, I don't know if you want to take it from there.
You're doing a fine job.
Well, our current goals say build awareness and outreach between the community as a whole and SPD with the focus on engaging BIPOC, LGBTQ plus and other historically minoritized communities. And review policies as determined by the committee and or those recommended by SPD. So, I think that Joe suggested the statement of purpose could be the same thing, but he wanted to take out the, with the focus on engaging to all the way to the end of communities, just cut that out because he wanted us to focus on everybody in the community. So,
So we'd stop at SPD period and then review SPD policies. Yeah. Does that sound good? We have a quorum, so we can vote on this. So are there any comments? Anything else that you'd like to see or not see in this?
I like that idea of just viewing the community as a whole.
Okay, good, thank you. Okay.
So, as you know, I love to be the voice of the voice. You know, before we take that out, I don't know how much, I wasn't here last time, but we put those groups in there for a reason. We didn't really do anything. And now we're taking it out. And we didn't do anything for those groups. We haven't really talked about what engaging the community as a whole means. So before we go changing anything, I would like us to talk about like that same thing that I find challenging about what our role is what does this mean to engage the community? So for what is our role? And is it gonna be more of the same around like we're gonna say we're gonna do something, it's gonna be part of our goal, and we're already in October and we're changing the goals for 2024, or are these gonna be for we're talking about 2025. I'd like to, sometimes I'm not great with my words. I would like to see us, these seem so generic. We didn't do anything with them last year. We haven't done anything with them this year. I would like to see them better defined.
well,
Instead of making them more generic.
like I said, we don't need goals anymore. We need a statement of purpose. So, I mean, I thought that is a pretty good statement of purpose, pretty generalized. And as for building awareness and outreach between the community as a whole, I think we have discussed that a lot, that at any kind of meetings you're at or out in the community, you can let people know that you're a part of this committee. And if they have concerns, that you would bring them to the committee. And also you can attend any of our events. That's why you're on our press release thing, so that you guys could come to any of that.
I think responding to, encouraging people who, if they have questions for the chief or the department, like Mr. Prophet. I'm not sure what he said, but Tiffany knows, so we'll be able to respond to him accordingly, right? I mean, and have an answer for him if he has a question or a statement, or Tiffany's looking at me funny.
Okay, so what we're saying is, as SPAC members, our statement of purpose is going to become to build awareness, blah, 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 and the two things, and then review the policies. We're taking that on as our statement of purpose.
If you want.
Right, that's.
I mean, if you have more concerns or more suggestions.
And if we're not calling them goals, we're calling them our purpose. Like, I see that distinction.
If you want, we can wait and discuss it when Counselor Pictionary is here.
I've only been on for a year and a half, but in the time I've been here, I feel like we've been striving for this. And it's been a peaceful season because I've heard the horror stories of around George Floyd and all that, and how this place was packed with people coming, and that might have been more acute during that season, from what I understand. We're just enjoying a peaceful season. I think we're trying to accomplish that as is with it stopping at the SPD. I mean, I think that characterizes every meeting.
And I feel like it captures the community as a whole. I mean, by having the acronyms and.
Everybody is second.
Yeah, it's it seems like it's, all right, it's not totally inviting. So I think by just eliminating that, it just captures. It kind of just puts us all in this pot.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And it's just more inviting, it's, it just captures the entire community.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm
It's
for
not
it.
singling anybody out.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel weird either.
Well, I like that mission. I do like that mission statement, and defining it that way rather than the goals. And I feel like I'm still new to the committee. And I think it might be helpful to hear like what has been helpful in the past from the committee members, like when it comes to reviewing policies, like what kind of feedback is helpful, or like what it is that, we're like our intention is when we're reviewing these. I'm not totally clear on that, but otherwise I think it sounds good to me.
I kind of think the policy, just from what I've seen, I'm new to the committee too. But from what I've seen, the review of the policy, it kind of goes both ways because you guys have a better understanding of it. So as your role on this committee, when you're out in the community, if somebody were to question something, you can, oh, well, this is why it's done this way, because you know some of these policies. And then at the same time for us, we can maybe see that, oh, okay, that doesn't make sense, or maybe there's a better way to word that, or something like that. So I
We
think,
have done that.
yeah, and I think it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Okay, that's helpful. Yeah, I was just wondering like what has, been meaningful in the past. Is it just like the feedback, like the practical application of like what if we've experienced it in the community, or like what we're really trying to help and when we're reviewing the policies. So yeah.
Yeah, and plus it's, in a public forum, if people were interested, and it's recorded. So if anybody wanted to go watch this later, they can. And if they were interested in a certain policy, they could look at our online, when we reviewed it, and they could go back and listen to our discussion about it.
Well, and like Bennett said, it's now, the handbook is now on the website, right?
Right,
Yeah,
So,
or policy manual.
yeah,
it was before, just now this is
but
all
now updated.
updated with
Yeah.
the new policies and.
I like the change of terminology around, that this is our statement of purpose rather than our goals. I would still like us to have some like action items. So if we say that we're going to build awareness, I'd like to, this is how we're going to do that. But for this conversation, changing it to a statement of purpose, and with those changes made.
So now it's going to be.
Motion and second
Yes, I
and
will.
vote.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes,
Motion, or are we voting?
yes, no, we're making a motion.
Okay. Motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you. And now, do we have a vote, please? All in favor? Aye. Aye.
I
Is
Aye.
that- Thank you. Aye. Okay, it has been motion and passed. Thank you. And so you want to see some action items under there eventually, though. Can we put that on for?
Wrote it down.
Thank you. All right. So next, we can do our policies.
I got it, yeah, we're there.
Over there. So the first one is operations planning. And did everybody get a chance to read these before the meeting? Are there any questions on it? I know, Carla.
These are both new policies
Mhm.
since accreditation, so.
The one on okay, let me make sure I'm doing the right one, because I tend to not talk about the one we're talking about. And I'm like, oh, wait. Yes, the operations planning. As I was reading it, I was thinking about, I had this job that we had, it was very checklist oriented. We had to do all of these things every time. And when COVID hit, we let all of our processes go. And I was like, wasn't the processes, didn't we have to do that so that we didn't make mistakes? And now we've let them all go and we're making all these mistakes. And I was thinking about that when I was reading the operations planning, that this is great when it's, when we can back up and we can, it's something that's when we can plan for it. But it's very specific about when it's things that we can plan for. So just out of curiosity, when it is more urgent, what kind of training, I'm just curious, because this is kind of off topic, what kind of training happens so that these mentally things are happening for the officers that are going in, so that we're making sure that those things are happening because these things are important even in urgent circumstances.
Sure. And obviously, in every situation, pre-planning would be ideal, right? And being able to stop and, fill out a matrix and say, yeah, we can do this, we can do that. But that's where our training comes in, right? And a majority of the things we respond to are active. We don't have the time to stop and do this, right? This is for operations planning when we have the time. Right, a lot of what we do in law enforcement, as you're aware, is it happens on the go, right? We get somebody that barricades themselves and we have to respond. We get a command post set up. We get the place surrounded. We get neighbors removed if we need to. All that stuff is going to happen. And if we had the time, it would all be in an operation, nice, neat little operations packet, right? But I'm usually the incident commander. I'm also the SWAT commander. 34 years of experience. I've got A, B, C, and D. I know what needs to happen. I have the confidence to know what needs to happen. And, I've been questioned on the stand about things. I reiterate what happened. Civil, we've been sued for different things throughout the years. I've been able to respond to those and without taking the time and doing an operations plan. An operations plan just makes sure that we're all on the same page. From, I just received, an example is I just received a matrix assessment from one of our detectives filled out. Because they have a search warrant they received yesterday, they got from a judge. And this is a more high-risk search warrant because of the type of crimes that are committed. And so it was brought to my attention through the detective sergeant that, hey, we're gonna need some help from SWAT to serve this. First thing I asked for as a command officer is I need to see the matrix. I need to see the information. I need to see the warrant, and I need to see now. In a time of an active situation, I don't have the time to do that, right? Ideally, that'd be great, but we just don't. So this just puts our whole department on the same page all the time. Everybody knows. We've been doing this for a while, actually, filling up. This is just our policy that says what we've been doing, but we changed that. That's one of the things that Chief Scheer brought in. They do it, at Portland, have for years. He brought that in initially, and we've been doing this for 3 years, 3.5 years. Yeah. So does that answer your question?
Thank you. I just got me thinking. I loved how it was written. I didn't find any typos.
Yeah. Good. Is there any other questions? Anybody have any other questions about that?
Second one is 43.1, that's digital forensics investigations. Anybody find any typos, first of all? I didn't either, so.
That'd be one.
No,
No,
there
I-
wasn't.
No,
There's no,
we had a contractor working on this, so she better not have.
there's no period at the end of digital evidence.
Well, there's none. Yeah, I see it.
You see that? There's no, we need a period in there, right?
All right, there's a period.
I'm just,
Anybody have any comments on this?
I'm new to this, so the purpose of this is to review it, to understand it, provide feedback for.
Yeah,
just for our.
it's for your knowledge, but if you have any feedback or questions that would make it easier for anybody in the public to understand it,
Right.
then,
If we can understand it okay, then we feel like the rest of the public, most of them can understand it okay as
Yeah.
well. It's kind of a check.
Public gross.
Remember that?
I will always remember that.
Yeah, that
and
is for
it's still
sure.
in there because it's in this ORS.
Yep.
That way.
we've had digital forensics for a long time, years. And we've always had like a working policy, but not necessarily a written policy. And so this is long overdue. I mean, I'm glad to see it. Yeah.
Thanks. All right. Thank you. All right, and business from the committee. It was just it, wasn't it?
Yep, that's where we're at.
Anybody have any comments, questions, concerns?
I just want to say I
No,
enjoyed
Jonathan?
Cindy, go ahead.
No, she said no.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what she said.
Yeah.
Yep, go ahead.
I just was with Officer Rupp on a call and was just super impressed with how he handled the domestic situation. They reminded me of Lieutenant Rappe, Abigail and Nabal in the Bible, like this idiot guy married to this woman, and man, just handled it with class.
Mhm.
And I just want to provide that feedback. It was just blessed are the sheepdogs, and out in the community, keeping the peace, and just reminded me of that.
Yeah.
As far as how he handled that situation. It's good.
Tate does a really good job.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the reasons he's on our CIT team and negotiator. He, for a young man, he's very, very good.
Yeah.
Communicates very well. His younger sister, Ren, Rupp, is who,
She's
that's who we hired,
Okay.
CSO, yeah.
all right, well,
Anybody else with
nothing
community
else.
stuff? No,
If nothing else, then I will adjourn at
that's wrong. It's 7:45.
7:45. Thank you.
7:45?
6:45, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost an hour.
Take an hour, and I believed her.
Thank you, Jonathan and Cindy.
Thank you, guys.
thank you. Have a good evening.
Tiffany tells me it's 7:45, it's 7:45.